You know, if you're a business owner, you've probably dreamed of that big exit one day. But what's the real difference between a business that sells for a life-changing amount of money and one that, well, just fizzles out? I'll tell you right now, it is not luck. It's a very deliberate process of building value. And in this explainer, we are going to break down the exact roadmap to get you there.
Okay, I want you to look at this number. Really look at it. Over 88%. It's a pretty staggering statistic, isn't it? And it represents either a huge, huge problem, or, if you look at it the right way, a massive opportunity.
So, what does that number actually mean? Well, it's the reality for nearly 9 out of every 10 businesses in North America. They are fundamentally difficult to sell. A lot of the time, they're worth little more than the stuff they own, their physical assets. And for the owner, this means when it's finally time to move on, there are very, very few good options on the table.
And that, of course, leads to the big question you have to ask yourself. Is my business one of them? We're about to walk through a framework that's going to help you answer that. But more importantly, it's going to show you how to change the answer if you don't like it. All right, so let's dig into this 88% problem. These are what we call stage 1 businesses. It's where almost everybody starts out, but honestly, it's a really dangerous trap to get stuck in. Let's take a look at why.
The harsh math on this slide really tells the whole story, doesn't it? I mean, look at that sale multiple, 0 to 2 times earnings. In a lot of cases, that means the business itself is basically worthless as an ongoing thing. The only potential buyers are, like, family members doing you a favor or an employee, and the most common exit, just shutting the doors. That's not an exit plan. That's a dead end. Okay, that was the bad news. But here's the good news. You don't have to stay there. Getting out of stage 1 isn't about wishing or hoping. It's about following a systematic path to build real, tangible value that someone will actually want to pay for. So let's look at the 4 stages of that journey. So, this is what we call the value ladder. You start out at the bottom, stage 1, difficult to sell. And then, with intentional effort, you can start to climb. You get to stage 2, sellable, then up to stage 3, where you start attracting really serious investors. And finally, you can reach stage 4, where your business becomes this highly sought-after strategic asset.
Now, before we climb this ladder, we gotta understand the most important term in this entire world, EBITDA. It sounds complicated, but just think of it as a simple, rough measure of your business's cash profit. A buyer is going to look at your EBITDA, your profit, and then offer you a multiple of that number. So our entire goal here is to increase both our profit and the multiple someone is willing to pay for it.
And this is why we're talking about all this. This chart shows you exactly why this whole thing matters so much. Just look at the jump in that multiple. By moving from stage 1 to stage 2, you could literally double your company's value. But getting to stage 3 and 4, that's where you see multiples of 4, 6, even 10 times or more of your annual profit. This isn't just a small bump. This is how real wealth gets created. So how do you make that first absolutely crucial jump from difficult to sell to sellable? Well, it all starts with laying a solid, professional foundation. Let's break down that first climb. Let's just look at these side by side. Right away, your potential sale multiple can double, and your buyers, they go from being family members to serious owner-operators or even a competitor. But look at the most important shift here, the owner's role. You go from doing everything yourself to having a key operations person in place. This is the very first step to proving the business can actually survive without. The first, absolutely non-negotiable step is getting your financial house in order. This means professional bookkeeping and CPA-prepared statements. No more shoeboxes full of receipts, and it means cleaning everything up. No more running personal expenses through the business, no under-the-table cash deals. A potential buyer is buying your numbers. Those numbers have to be clean, professional, and completely trustworthy, period. All right, you've made it to stage 2. That's huge. You've built a solid, sellable business. But we're not stopping there. The next climb up the ladder is all about making it an attractive investment. This is the leap that takes you from being interesting to maybe one buyer to getting on the radar of professional investors. We're talking private equity funds.
I mean, just look at the numbers here. We are talking about a whole different league. The EBITDA grows significantly, the multiple gets another nice bump, and your potential buyers are now professional investors, private equity, search funds. These groups don't buy jobs, they buy systems. They are buying predictable, de-risked cash flow.
So the big question is, how do you prove your business is a safe bet for these serious buyers? You show stability, at least 5 years of consistent profits.
You show diversity, no single customer making up more than 10% of your sales. But the ultimate test is this. Can you go away, completely unplug for a full month and have the business run perfectly fine without you? If the answer is yes, you've started to build something that isn't just a job for you anymore.
All right, this is the final climb. This is the top of the mountain, and it's by far the most rewarding. This is the leap from having a great business to building a true strategic asset, a company that a larger corporation would pay a huge premium to acquire.
And this is where the magic really happens. The sale multiples, they enter a whole new tier, often 10 times your earnings or even more. And why? Because you're not just selling to investors anymore. You're selling to strategic buyers who want your technology or your customers or your position in the market. And look at the owner's role, not just out of the day-to-day, but completely unnecessary for future growth.
This level requires total owner independence. You've got a general manager or a president running the show. You are completely removed from sales. There's a formal board for governance. And the final test? Forget a 1-month vacation. Can you leave for 6 months? If the business not only survives but actually grows while you're gone, you haven't just built a company, you've built a true independent asset.
So what's the engine that makes all this possible? It's all about scalable systems. A strategic buyer isn't just interested in your past profits. They want a proven, documented machine they can use for growth. They need to see replicable processes for everything: hiring, marketing, sales, you name it. They're buying a system they can pour fuel on and get a predictable result.
So, we've walked through the whole roadmap, the entire ladder, from a business that's hard to give away to one that strategic buyers will literally fight over. The path is clear and the steps are actionable. The only real question left for you is, where are you standing on this ladder today, and what's your very next step going to be?